So today I'm driving the 2017 Nissan Maxima SV. This is a standard size 4-door sedan with a 3.5-liter V6 and it retails for about $35,000. Car and Driver gave this a 5 out of 5 and Edmunds gave it a 4.5 out of 5, so I had some pretty high expectations for this car. And I really liked it a lot. I had about 2 days with this car and I really enjoyed driving it. I also think it's a pretty good looking sedan, despite the fact that this one right now is completely covered in salt from the snowstorm. Let's jump inside and take a look at the front seat. This one is full leather and it's pretty nice. It has some nice silver inlays just scattered throughout the car that really give it a kind of a high-end feel. There are also a lot of buttons and controls scattered on the center console, but they all feel like they're in the right place. I really do feel like there was a lot of time spent designing the interior of this car. It's hard to really explain, but this car just feels very adult. Jumping in the back seat, you really do get a nice size back seat here with 3 seats. There's also a center console that pulls down to reveal some armrests and a couple of cup holders. And on the back of the center console, you do get 2 vents specifically for your passengers. I'll get to all the tech features in a minute, but let's talk about storage real quick. Starting with the trunk, you really do get a nice size storage space back here. It's pretty wide. There's not a lot of angles that jut into it, so I think you'll be able to get all your suitcases and belongings back here without any problem. At the bottom of the center console and the front seat of the car, you also get this small storage area with a couple of imports for your USB and audio. And this is a pretty sizable place. Look, I can put my hand all the way deep in here, so I think you can get a lot of stuff in this small unit. The space underneath the center armrest is pretty sizable too. It's pretty deep, and there is a power port in there, which is kind of nice. Surprisingly, it's actually the glove box that gives you the most amount of space. This thing is pretty deep. I mean, can you see how far this goes back there? It's actually kind of impressive. And then you get a small sort of shelf space in the door where you can hide some things. But let's jump in and talk about technology, because that's really where this car excels. Let's start with the key fob. It's a little light for my taste, but it's a nice size and it fits easily in your pocket, and it includes remote start, which is something I absolutely love in the wintertime. There's also a push-button start on the center console, which I love, instead of on the normal place on the side of the steering wheel. This car also has the nicest heads-up display I've come across so far. It's a full-color display, and it has all kinds of helpful information for you. For example, while you're driving, not only do you see your direction in the form of a compass and the name of the road that you're on, but you also get the speed limit, which I think is hugely helpful and pretty impressive on Nissan's part. And then while you're parking, the screen automatically shifts and you kind of get this radar display. I'm sorry, this is pretty hard to film. But you kind of get this radar display that shows you when you're approaching an object on one side of the vehicle. Switching to the center console, you also get a very large touchscreen that has some nice dedicated buttons on the left and right of the screen, but also has these nice controls by the gear shift to allow you to kind of interact with the center console without having to lean forward and touch it, which I thought was really nice. Everything lights up really nicely too. Here's that small compartment underneath the center console. You'll notice that the USB ports have a red light illuminating when the car is dark. There's also a button on the driver's side door, so when you approach the vehicle, as long as you have the key fob somewhere in your pocket, you can just press this button and then open up the door, which is great because it means you never have to take the key fob out of your pocket. Unfortunately, however, this car does not come with blindside detection on either of the side mirrors. I'm kind of disappointed by this. I mean, for a $35,000 car, I think you should get this feature standard, and it's something I just don't think I can live without anymore. The Maxima also has the old-fashioned fuel cap, so you do have to twist it off. Some of the newer Fords and Chevys have gotten rid of this, which is a really nice feature. But, I mean, when it comes to the Maxima, I can't imagine this would be a deal breaker for you. Let's switch topics and talk about comfort for a second. I drove this car for probably 5 or 6 hours and was really happy with it. You get electronic controls both for the driver and the passenger to control the front seats, including lumbar support, but only for the driver. Nissan still has some very nice climate controls. There's nothing fancy about this. Everything has a dedicated button, and there are digital readouts to tell you exactly how hot the car is getting. But they did keep this old-fashioned park brake, which I just despise and wish Nissan would just completely get rid of. And the car seat anchors in the back seat are nearly impossible to get to. They are super deep back there, and I imagine that hooking up a car seat in this car is going to be damn near impossible. But enough with the negative. Let's switch to handling, because this car really shines when it comes to drivability. It has a V6 engine, so you get some really nice acceleration. And it has a pretty wide body, so going around turns like this are really simple, and you really feel like you're hugging the road really nicely. I put several hundred miles on this car, mostly on the highway, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I really enjoy driving this car. It's smooth and easy to operate, and if you're considering the Nissan Maxima, I really encourage you to go out and do a test drive of your own. Alright, so that's the 2017 Nissan Maxima SV. I give this car 3 stars. Nice sedan with a lot of great tech features, but I think I'd go with the 2017 Ford Fusion instead. So that was my 21st rental car. My goal is to rent 100 different cars. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll join me next time when I rent the 2016 Toyota Corolla.